Knights in Tight Spaces, developed by Ground Shatter and published by Raw Fury, is a tactical deck-building roguelike where you curate a deck of cards that let you throw firebolts at skeletons, throat-punch knaves, and kick archers off bridges. The game is a spiritual successor of sorts to their previous game, Fights in Tight Spaces. While the game offers a few modes including daily play and endless, my time has been spent in story mode, which has you navigating a map with many branching paths that determine which battles you will encounter and which merchants you will visit to upgrade your party and your deck. Dialogue choices are presented to the player throughout story mode, but it's unclear to me if these have larger narrative implications. Mostly, I've just been choosing whichever option gives me the resource that most helps my run. Positioning and planning ahead is incredibly important. Like the name suggests, each map is very small, and you must use the map to your advantage to throw enemies out of bounds to instantly kill them, or push enemies in a way that force them to attack one another. The game helps you with planning your turn by showing you the order in which enemies will attack, how much damage their attacks will do, along with any other effects, and the spaces on the map in which new enemies will spawn. These can be prevented, however, if a character moves or is pushed onto that space by the end of the turn. While each card is fairly simple to understand, each turn really plays out like a puzzle where you attempt to find the perfect sequence of cards to minimize damage while completing bonus objectives. Most cards require momentum to play. Some cards do not require momentum, but instead require you to build a combo meter first by playing attack cards in a row. Choosing the middle or default of 5 difficulty options means every turn you are guaranteed to draw 1 movement card, and you get 1 reset every encounter. Every encounter rewards you with 1 of 3 random cards to add to your deck, as well as extra resources depending on how many optional objectives you completed. Most encounters boil down to defeat all enemies, with some encounters simply requiring you to survive a number of rounds. Eventually, you can recruit party members. Each party member brings 3 new cards related to their class identity. In combat, you share the same deck of cards between all party members, and you choose which characters use which cards. Party composition is very important because you have to consider which characters will have access to most of the cards in your deck. For example, only attuned characters can play magic spells, and only unarmed characters can play unarmed attacks. Each class comes equipped with items, weapons, armor, and skills that specifically suit their playstyle. Rogue is good at building combo and dodging attacks, while the cleric is good at tanking hits and healing. What I like. I really like how different the game feels from run to run. Between all the classes available in the wide variety of cards, each run feels fresh. The game also gives you plenty of ways to tailor your run. Weapons and armor can be purchased, upgraded, or swapped between party members. And like most deck builders, cards can be purchased, upgraded, or removed. I also really love how the game rewards the player for min-maxing and taking the time to think through the best possible turn, pushing one enemy to a specific square to set up a sequence of chain reaction enemy attacks that all result in another enemy being shot out of bounds and instantly killed by his own party is incredibly satisfying. What I don't like. Losing in the main story means starting over and playing the same encounters over and over again. While all enemy stats and attack information are available to the player, they aren't always immediately obvious. This sometimes leads to turns where you overlook an ability and you end up killing one of your own party members, and you are forced to either continue forward or use your only reset. Along the same lines, I often found myself wishing I could zoom out further or rotate the camera by dragging my mouse rather than being locked to one of 4 positions. I would recommend this game to fans of Fights in Tight Spaces or other tactical turn-based action games like Into the Breach or XCOM. I would not recommend the game to anyone who doesn't already enjoy deck builders or roguelikes, or to anyone who doesn't enjoy min-maxing and making the most optimal play at every occasion. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe for more short reviews.